Good evening. It's another edition of Value System Change Agenda. This is day 19. We have been going through a very hot session of seminar and discussions on some of the evils in the African society. And we have run through 18 different value systems, and it's been very explosive. We're going to put this series on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and there's going to be 31 different videos on my YouTube channel. If you have time, kindly go to my YouTube channel and see some of the messages and teachings there. You'll be mightily transformed. And today we are looking at one of the problems and evils confronting the African society, and that is vote rigging. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Sister Dupe, Brother Yomi, Brother Adebayo. God bless you all. Good evening. We are looking at a very important subject, very contentious, debatable. It has cost many people their lives. It has torn nations apart. It has resulted into civil war, killing thousands and millions of people all across Africa, in Rwanda and Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria. All kinds of evil are traceable and linked to vote selling. Africans selling their votes. Africans collecting money from people in exchange for votes. Every problem that Africans are facing today, if you break them into three, 1/3 of them will go into the bad electioneering process in Africa. The government of many African countries are doing a lot of talkings, but talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. There are thieves, there are vote riggers, there are vote sellers in America, in Canada, in Britain. What those governments do is to put appropriate measures and systems in place. And so you have electronic voting, you have all kind of things. They profile everybody. Everybody has a national ID card, ID number, you thumbprint. And so they still have their way. If they want to rig, they can still rig, but the rate and the scale is very small. You can actually predict the success, predict the result of an election in America or in Britain by the power of your vote. More than 90% of the actual voting will count towards the result. I leave the 10% because they have their own kind of rigging as well. But it's very sophisticated and advanced. But in Africa, countries like Nigeria and other African countries, less than 50% of people's votes count in the election. Even the 50% will be bought and sold. And people that actually put in their vote for whom they like are very few. So we want to look at this very serious issue this afternoon. I wish my voice can be projected into the office of the President of Nigeria, the President of Ghana, the senators. Even if they block their ears, I wish something can pop into their ears. I wish I had the power or something to force people to hear what I'm saying, what I will say tonight. Someone said I should burn all these messages to CD and circulate it around, to people in Nigeria. All those big politicians who are destroying the country. Many of them know the truth. Many of them go to America, go to England, they see all these things. They will not do it. That is why it is better to free the sheep than to free the sheep than to touch the shepherd. Sometimes shepherds are tough and strong, but if you can free the sheep and the shepherds have no sheep to preside over, then they will behave. So if all the 180 million Nigerians, maybe there are 100 million that can vote, if they can be freed, if they can be empowered with wisdom, if more than 80% of Nigerians decide that they will rather die than selling their votes, it is easier to chase away all of these unscrupulous elements that are ruining the country. So a lot of things have happened in Africa in the last 50 years. In Rwanda, millions of people were murdered and massacred in cold blood. In Sierra Leone, millions of people were massacred in cold blood. Ethiopia, virtually most African countries. And if you trace the beginning of this massive killings of people, you will link it to financial inducements, vote rigging, vote selling. Somebody believe that he's qualified above the other person, and then he bribes people and they sell their vote, and then they rig the election, and the person becomes president, and the other party decides to go to take law into their hand, recruit army, go go into villages, into cities, begin to kill people. Everything is traceable to the power of votes, the ability of people to use their votes wisely, with integrity, and with credibility. The statistics here are very, very serious. I can't go through all of them. Hundreds of thousands and millions of people have been slaughtered, have been killed in the last 50 years all across Africa because of this menace. Because of this menace. And if nobody stands up to speak out against these things will continue. The people that are throwing money around and bribing and buying people to vote for them, they are still there. They haven't run out of business. They are still coming. In 2018, it will be election year in many African countries, particularly a country like Nigeria. In Nigeria, they swear in presidents in May of every year. So the president that will come in May 2019, they won't vote for him in May. They will vote for him next year. So all the primary election, the politicking, everything will take place in 2018. And I want to speak to my friends, speak to my Nigerian brethren, and use them as a template for Ghana, for Sierra Leone, for Cote d'Ivoire. Nigeria is the big brother. I'm using my Nigerian friends as a template, as a prototype. And I'm telling you this evening that you should please shun every vices of selling your vote. No matter the amount of money that people are going to give to you, do not sell your vote to anybody. Make sure that the people that you want to put in places of authority are people with dignity, people that you trust, people that will lead you aright, people that will shun egocentrism, people that will shun selfishness, people that will shun tribalism, people that will shun, people that will not be partisan, people that will be detribalized. These are the kind of people that will be dispassionate, people who will only do the right thing for which you have put them there. Why do people sell votes? Why do you think people sell votes? Why do many Africans, many Nigerians collect money from people and change the results of votes? Why do people engage in election malpractices? The people that are doing these things are not just the politicians. A lot of citizens cooperate with them. They are collaborators. So the people that are doing it and those that are collaborating, they are the same in the eyes of the law. And so for how many years will we be complaining as a nation that we are suffering? For how many years, like I put on my Facebook now, for how many years are we going to be molesting foreign embassies to give us visas? We want to go to China, we want to go to Italy, we want to go to, people are even going to Libya. We want to go to Malaysia, go to America, go to Canada, go to England, because the people living in those countries, they are a bit more reasonable. A bit. They too have their own problems. So I use the word a bit more reasonable with their own votes. A bit more reasonable. And so why don't we get more reasonable than them and begin to use the power of our vote very well? What can we do to encourage our brothers and sisters in Nigeria in particular not to sell their vote in 2018? 2018 is just 12 more days from now. Will you still sell your vote to that man? That man that is carrying bags of rice around and giving everybody in their houses and asking you to vote for him. Is that the yardstick for choosing a good leader? Is that the yardstick for choosing the man that will steer the destiny of 180 million people? Is that the metric? Is that the KPI, the key performance index, for picking the right person that will handle the boat or the ship or the plane of our lives? Just a bag of rice. Is our life worth only a bag of rice? It is the most degrading thing you can do to any man. To offer you a product, to offer you an amount of money for your will. Can your will be purchased by money? If you put down your feet and you say, I will not do something, can you be swayed by money? Not everybody can do that. But we are all grown into maturity at different levels. Many people have their prices. There are some people $1,000 will not move them. There are some people $100,000 will not move them. But when the zeros become 6 in number and it gets to $1 million and nobody is watching, then they can be bought. Can you be bought with money? Can you be bought with money? Until you answer that question. Now, in one of my books, God of Mammon, I did an extensive study on this thing. Can you be bought with money? Until you answer that question, until you get to a point, you say, if I am standing on the side of truth, there is no amount of money in this world that can buy me. Until you get to that level in life as a human being, you are still very far from maturity. Maturity has different grades. There are some people, if you give them the key of a brand new house in Dubai, you have bought them. They will sell their conscience, sell their votes, sell their will. There are other people you just need to bribe them and buy them with a woman. Once they see a beautiful woman, including Christians, sometimes including pastors, they will only do it in the secret when people cannot see them. Can you be bought? What is your price? Somebody told me one day, he said, every man has a price. What is the price for your conscience? What is the price for your morality? What is the price? If you see 7 zeros, will you sell your products, sell your vote? If you see 10 zeros, will you shift from the side of truth to the side of lie? Until you answer that question. Now, don't rush to answer that question. Many of us have not been tempted to that level. And I'm speaking to myself as well. But I want to prepare our minds. I'm speaking to many of us that are not even living in Nigeria. But by tomorrow morning, a lot of Nigerians and people from Africa, they begin to watch the video all over again. And I'm speaking to everybody, all my friends. What is your price? What is the price of your morality? Can you be bought when you are standing on the side of truth? Do you think you can withstand the pressure of money? Do you think you can withstand the pressure of 2 brand new mansions in Dubai? Do you think you can withstand the pressure of an oil block? Just take one oil block and you begin to think for the next 100 years, your family and generation can never suffer again. But you may not suffer again, but hundreds of millions of people will suffer for it and pay for it. Every election that you sell is tantamount to selling the future of millions of people. Every single vote that is exchanged for money is an exchange of value for millions of people. It's an exchange of poverty, of prosperity for poverty for millions of people. It's an exchange of illiteracy for literacy for millions of people. It's an exchange for lack of education, for education for lack of education for millions of people. It's an exchange of armed robbery attack, an exchange of security for armed robbery attacks for millions of people. It's an exchange of so many terrible vices. It is a very serious issue. A majority of our people that are complaining and whining and crying and cursing the government, many of them are collaborators with the money bags. The money bags and the unscrupulous satanic agents that have made a vow to ensure that they crush the destiny of our nations in Africa. They are preparing now. Many of them have put their machineries in motion. They have started looking for money. They have started sourcing for funds. And they will bring their money again to you. Will you collect their money from them? Yes, you need money. Yes, things are hard. Yes, with $1 million or 1 million, whatever, you will not be poor again, according to you. According to you. Because a millionaire is not someone who has 1 million in his account. A millionaire is not someone who has 1 million in his account. A millionaire is a man that is worth 1 million people. There are some rich people, when you mention their name, people will hiss. When people of importance are speaking, he cannot raise his voice. When they are calling people to come and speak at Harvard, at Yale, at Oxford, United Nations, though the man is a billionaire, but he cannot come and speak. Mobutu Sese Seko was a billionaire. How many times was he invited to come and address the United Nations Assembly? Yet he had billions. I don't want to mention other names of people in that category. So it's not about having 1 million, but being worth at least 1 million. What does that mean? Your name carries weight. You have credibility. You have integrity. You have reputation. All of those things weigh more than physical cash. And that is what builds sound value systems in nations. So the number one reason why people sell their vote is poverty. There is a mindset that if I can get money from vote selling, then all my problems will be solved. But like I said, you don't solve permanent poverty. You are just solving temporary poverty. Because one man that is poor, that is rich, among 6 poor people, makes 7 poor people. So if you collect money for your vote and you become rich, and others are still poor, you are still a very poor person. You are still going to ride on that same road everybody is riding. You are going to fly the same environment. You are going to live in the same environment. You are going to partake of the same thing that others that didn't sell their vote or who are still poor will partake from. The second reason why people sell their votes, mindset. If my person wins, it will favor me. If my uncle gets there, it will help me. If that man gets there, I will get business deals for me. And so it is a self-centered, egocentric approach to election. And that has taken over the mind of virtually every single voter. Virtually, with only very small fragment remaining. If somebody close to me can become a governor, can become the president, all my problems are solved. It will help me. And then you sell your vote. You sell your vote. That is egocentrism and self-centeredness. Yes, that person is your uncle. But what about the millions of people who do not know this man? So you are going to be rich and get contract for that man, and hundreds of millions of people are going to suffer for it. Number 2, why do people sell their votes? Number 3, illiteracy and ignorance. There is a difference between having a degree and going to school and being educated. There are a lot of educated illiterates in Africa with master's degree, but they are not informed. With master's degree, they are not informed. When you do not know the devastating effects of selling your vote, although you are a graduate, you have a master's degree, you will sell it without thinking twice. The effects are devastating. I will read some of the effects to you shortly. One single vote that you sell for $100 can create 100 societal problems for the next 100 years. One single vote that gets the wrong person into power at any level, either a director or a governor or a commissioner or at any level. One single vote that is sold, only one. It was one vote that bailed Bill Clinton out of the Monica Lewinsky scandal in the US in 1998. It was one vote. They had to vote in the White House. They vote in the House of Congress. And only one person made the difference. If that person hadn't raised up his hand, or that person had belonged to the other group, Bill Clinton would have been impeached. The power of one vote. Is it not only me? We have hundreds of millions of voters. My own vote will not count. Let me just sell it. Now, somebody is saying that you don't know what is going on in the mind of other people. My own vote doesn't count. Let me sell it. His own vote doesn't count. He sells it. Our own vote doesn't count. He sells it. And everybody is saying the same thing in their own house. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. We now come together and become 100 million. It doesn't count. That is how it operates. That is how it operates. That is how it operates. The number 3 reason why people sell their vote is religious sentiment. He's a Muslim. He's a Christian. And I will do anything possible to get him there. And the guy comes to you, gives you money, you sell your vote, I will vote for you. Results have been proven to be greater than religious affiliation. If a Muslim will turn the economy of a country around, so be it. If an idol worshiper will turn the economy of a country around, so be it. Virtually all of the leaders of Asian countries are idol worshippers, worshipping Buddha and Hindu. And many of us are looking up to them to lend us money, to train us. Many Africans go to Japan, go to China to buy things and ship them back to Africa to sell. Many American companies, many American businesses owned by Christians are looking for Chinese workers because they are paid, they collect cheap amount of money. Many of them are now locating their companies in China among Hindu worshippers because they are wise and they are able to organize their own society to favor trade, and then we're going there. Religious sentiment is one of the major killers in the African political environment. Religious sentiments. Religious sentiment. Whoever is going to achieve the results is a leader. There are many people that claim to be Christians but are not wise. There are many people that are not even Christians and are wiser. It has nothing to do with politics and leadership. These things are principles of life. Why do people go to hospitals and when they want to use a doctor, they ask the doctor, are you a Christian or a Muslim? Do you hear that? Is that common? Do you want to fly a plane and get to the airport and ask the agent, is the pilot a Muslim or a Christian? You don't care about it. As long as the guy can fly you and land you, then you jump on the plane. I have never asked such question in my life. So when it comes to politics, people bring in religious sentiments. Say, I want this one to be there. I want that one to be there. Religion has been proven to be one of the greatest detractors. It distracts people completely from what matters. People begin to major on the minor and minor on the major. Somebody who is more qualified, who is a Muslim, will be jettisoned and they will bring in an unqualified Christian and put and build in sentiment, whip up sentiment. He's a Christian, he is this, he will build churches for us. That has nothing to do with governance. Tribal sentiment is another major problem that makes people to sell their vote. It doesn't belong to my people. We don't speak the same language. If he becomes the leader, he's going to bring in his friends. He won't bring in my own people. And this thing is killing us gradually. The reason why people in America and England are able to organize successful election and there is stability in the society is because many of them speak the same language. You hardly, even though in America you have people, the Caucasians, the Jamaicans, and they are black, some are black, they still speak English. They still speak the same English. That's another story for another day. I mean, I don't want to go into that now because the multiple nature of tribes in many African countries is one of the major problems confronting that society. People with multiple traits, different mindsets, different ideologies, and then you put them together and force them to stay in the same environment and force them to live together. Nigeria has more than 700 local governments, and majority of them speak different languages. And you want them to stay together, to live together, to rule together, to follow together. That is one of the key problems that any forward-thinking leader should begin to look into. I am not speaking for secession. I'm not speaking for dividing the nation. If that is what they want, fine, they should do it. But they should develop strategies, probably look for regional government or whatever, depending on whatever they will do, that will at least bring people that are similar together. Now, that doesn't kill integration. Somebody has said, oh, if we speak these different languages, because we are diverse, diversity brings in a lot of strength. Yes, there is strength in diversity. But there are some diversity that are foolish diversities. You don't bring people that can't speak the same language together to live in the same house. It's like bringing a man and a wife. The wife speaks French, the husband speaks German, and you got them married. I said diversity brings strength. They will be beating themselves in the house. The wife will say bonjour, comment ça va? The husband will say speak German. Speak German to him. And the husband will ask for a cup of tea in French. The wife will go and bring shoe polish. Bring shoe polish. And the other will say, say it in French again. The wife will go and bring something else. It's a very simple and funny analogy, but that's what is happening. So many, I lived in South Africa for a couple of years, and you find the Africans, who are the whites, living together with people who speak Swahili, people who speak Xhosa, and they were always fighting. And the apartheid government had to develop some very wicked strategies. Their own strategy was very wicked. They now banished the black people into a particular part of the country and put themselves in the most fertile, beautiful location. So the black people, the black South Africans were collecting visa in their own country before they leave a place like Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga is outside of Pretoria, and they move into a Pretoria suburb, which is a white suburb, very beautiful place. They have to come through a border or come through a security checkpoint and get a pass, and they give them daily pass, monthly pass, weekly pass. But that was a wicked approach, was apartheid. There are different variants. Even a country that has 200 million people may not give opportunity for others to succeed. They may create regional governments and find a way of establishing control and have regional leaders. And then those leaders will come together and meet together, and each person will go and govern his own people who speak the same language, who think the same way. They will still enjoy the benefit of diversity because they haven't gone completely from the main country. All of these things are taught in universities all across Nigeria. Professors know these things I'm saying. A lot of people have studied politics, international relations. They know these things, but they will not implement it because the system is bad. I cannot forget the lecture I took from Professor Jeffrey FIFA, Stanford University in the United States, on leadership. And the man said to us, he said, when you put a good leader in a bad system, the bad system will turn the good leader into a bad leader. So it's not an issue of looking for good leaders all the time and closing your eyes to system. As you are sourcing for good leaders, you must be working on sound systems. The problem we have with election rigging, vote selling, has to do with the system. The system. There are so many good leaders that want to rule, that want to be in places of leadership, but they are always schemed out because many of them don't have money. Those that have money are the bad leaders, so they give people money, people sell their vote, and they scheme out the good leaders. Until Nigeria and African countries in general get to a point that people who don't have money win election, there is no progress. Until we de-emphasize the role of money, until we make an average carpenter, an average bricklayer, but who is a very good leader, matured, brilliant man, make him accessible to the place of leadership without any money involved, African countries can never progress. As long as we continue to emphasize and promote financial inducement, financial power, then the people who have money, majority of whom are not good leaders, because I have observed it. All those guys that have money, that a man is rich doesn't mean he's a good leader. Leadership comes with a lot of traits. I have done a lot of study of leadership. The two core skills of a leader that you cannot negotiate on any ground: the ability to motivate people. There are three core skills: ability to motivate people, ability to influence people, and ability to inspire people to achieve a common goal. Motivation, inspiration, and influence. So anybody that has that skill, whether he's a carpenter, as long as he can communicate, he can speak very good English, and he can communicate, people can hear him clearly, is qualified to be a leader. He doesn't have to be a president, can be a councillor, whatever, but majority of those guys don't have money. So what they do is that they will now look for people who can sponsor them, who have money, and majority of such people are corrupt people. So when that person invests $10 million in your political career, and you become that whatever, become that councillor or whatever, the next thing he will tell you is this: the money I have given you, I want it back 10 times. In fact, he would have made an arrangement with you. That is very common. Everybody knows this story I'm telling. It is very common thing. But who are the leaders who will stand up in our nation and stem the tide of this evil? Nobody is saying anything, because most of our leaders are beneficiaries from corruption. Most of them are beneficiaries. And you cannot speak against what you benefit from. It's a natural law of logic. You cannot speak against what you benefit from. If you are a collaborator of evil, you can never condemn evil. If you are a partaker of evil, you can never condemn evil. You will continue to shine and dodge and scheme your way out. Even when you are confronted head on and they ask you a question, you change the topic because you are a partaker and collaborator. That is why it is very important for many of us in overseas country to begin to learn our voices. Millions of young children that are being born into our societies are witnessing horrific economic condition. The future of many of them is very bleak. It's only by the grace of God that many of the young children being born in this generation can survive and succeed and prosper. During our own time, 25, 30 years ago, we were complaining our country is very hard. I remember when I was growing up. Our country is very hard, very hard. We know the difference. There is hardness and there is hardness. There is hardness. I remember when I went to university. I studied in Nigeria for my first degree. The tuition fee I paid for my first year in the university as an engineering student was 60 naira. I can never forget it. 60 naira. And it looked so expensive at that time, because dollar was a bit closer to naira at that time in Nigeria. 60 naira. When the school fees was increased to 200 naira, there was riot on campus. There was a riot on campus. And my final year was 1,500 naira. They shut the campus for months. They shut the campus for months. Everybody was screaming, they have killed us. 1,500 naira. That was my final year engineering school fees. We shut down the campus. That was about 25 years ago now. And we were screaming, this country is destroyed. This country is ruined. There is a difference. There are categories of ruin. It is today now that you and I will know that our own time and period was a blessing, was a heaven on earth compared to what our children are facing now. And if we don't speak up and open our voice, our mouth, and lend our voice, and begin to motivate and inspire our people back home to use their vote powerfully, to see their vote as their ultimate weapon, to shoot the right person into prominence, and they begin to sell their votes. I don't want to say what's going to happen. The number 4 reason why people sell their vote: pressure and risks from vested interest. Some people will come and tell you must vote for me, otherwise we kill you. These are things that are real in our society in Africa. So some people have actually changed their location because we are threatened by some people. If you don't vote for me, I'm going to get rid of you. You must do it. It is better not to vote at all than to sell your vote. It is better not to vote at all than to sell your vote. You do not know how many millions of people will suffer for that single transaction that you have contracted. One vote selling transaction can cause disaster for millions of people. You don't know what one vote. Oh, it is just my own one vote. It is just one. No, only one vote saved Bill Clinton in 1998 from impeachment in the US. Only one vote. I have a friend that had a problem and they wanted to expel him from the university. Only one vote. They voted in the Senate. Only one man voted. It was 12 to 13. And only one vote. If that man had sold his own vote, my friend would have been out of university. I'm talking about some years back. One vote can kill people. One vote can ruin hospitals. One vote that is sold can lead to bad road. Bad roads lead to accidents. Accident leads to loss of life. Because that one vote can bring in a satanic agent who doesn't know anything about leadership to rule a set of people. People rig election. People sell their votes. Because of this mindset, my vote does not count. Who am I? But the foolishness in that line of thinking is this. As you are thinking in your heart, my vote does not count. Your neighbor too is thinking, my vote does not count. Another person is thinking, my vote does not count. Millions of people are thinking the same thing in their rooms. My vote does not count. By the time you add them together, it becomes a mass of vote transaction that has crippled many of our nations and societies to the level it is today. My vote does not count. If we can successfully turn the mindset of our people, that even if you are 1 out of 1 million people, your vote counts. If the government of our countries in Africa can do something to twist and turn the mindset of people to value their own vote, not 1,000 votes now, one vote, it will change the way things are done and we'll get better results than we have. Now let me tell you something. Listen to this. What are the consequences of election rigging or vote selling? In the next few months, many people in Africa will be going to polls, primary election. I wish we can all start publicize and lending our voices to this move and beg our people. Many embassies many Western embassies are making life miserable for Africans, particularly Nigerians. People are paying visa fees and enriching embassies, and they are refusing visas at an alarming rate. Because before they issue a visa to someone, they want to see how comfortable you are in your country. So when you are not comfortable, as expressed in your work and account statement, the embassy has a kind of a notion about you. When you leave your country, you won't return. And it is getting worse by the day. You know, I do a lot of immigration, and I'm talking with statistics. Thousands of people apply for visas every day. Only a fragment of them are approved. 10-20%. The remaining 80% will still pay application fee for visa, running into millions of dollars to the embassies of Britain, of Canada, of America. And they do it every month. And those guys pick 10% of the applicants and give them visa. The others will not be giving them refund, and they're getting richer. Why can't we make their market to go bad? You can use your vote to make the market of embassies to go bad. By the time the country becomes better, many people that are going to Italy, go to Libya to destroy their lives, they will not go. Many of us that are living abroad, we know that home is always better than anywhere in the world. Home is better than anywhere in the world. Why not to be? Because of the problems that we faced back home. Many of us living abroad would prefer to live back home in Africa. Anytime I travel to Africa, I struggle to come back. It's a body to come back. Anytime I go, it's a body. When you have lived abroad for some years, you get to a point, there is nothing again that's exacting to you. And you have a burden to go back to your people and help them. So anytime I go to Nigeria or go to Ghana or South Africa, and I say, God, these people are suffering. I will just go into the market. I will wear a t-shirt, you won't even know I'm from anywhere, but wear a sandal and go casually, and I will see thousands of young people walking about aimlessly. People will put products in their shop that is not worth $20, and they do like this, waiting for customers inside very hot sun, scorching sun. And I will shake my head like this and say, how much does this thing worth? How many millions can you make from this thing for how many years? And many of them have children that send in school. And you see children standing aloof with protruding belly, and their head is big, suffering kwashoko. Go into a normal market environment. Don't go to shopping mall. Don't go to ShopRite or Price or Mr. Peak, wherever, Mr. Price in South Africa. All those big shopping malls, rich people go there. Go, just walk into an average market in Ghana, in South Africa, in Nigeria in particular, and pretend, just wear a normal clothes, don't wear a flashy clothes, and you see thousands of people walking about aimlessly. And I will shake my head and say, these people have been robbed. That was a statement that came out of my mouth last year. I said, these people have been robbed. These people have been robbed. Sometimes I will deliberately go and buy stuffs, and I will tell them to keep the change. Just keep the change. Just take. Sometimes I will know the price of a good. I will overpay for it deliberately. Just take. I wasn't wasting money, but my heart is gripped with compassion and love. I wish I had enough money to empower all of those young people. Where did this problem start from? Bad leadership. Where did bad leadership start from? Election rigging. What is the fuel for election rigging? Vote selling. Vote selling. When people use their votes to solve temporary problems of food, clothes, and water, to create permanent problem that will last them decades. When you sell your vote in 2018, you will elect new breed of bad leaders. Let me tell you something. Every new generation of leader is an improvement on the previous. That is a law in leadership you must write down. Every new generation is always an improvement on the previous. So, if you have had a generation of corrupt leaders, and you do nothing about it, and you repeat the same system, the same process, the same system of rigging, the new breed of leaders will be more corrupt than the previous one. That is why each year I want to do the analysis of corruption in Africa, in Nigeria. The money stolen in a present administration is always bigger than the one stolen before. Because everybody is waiting for his own turn. It's like a national cake. Everybody is waiting for their own turn. As soon as the curtain is lifted and they dive into that place, they begin to share the cake. Election of bad leaders. That is the first consequences. I can spend a whole day talking about leadership. Leader at different levels. At different levels. Leadership, everything starts and stops on leadership. There are many good people that can take righteous decisions all across Africa. Many of them don't have money. They don't know people. And because the system has been designed in a way to favor the rich, true leaders have not been imagined. So we'll be having egocentric, selfish, self-centered, wicked, satanic leaders who are only looking for the slightest opportunity to enrich their pockets at the detriment of the safety, of the prosperity, of the education of millions of people. But the power is in our hands as a people. Number two, violence and civil unrest. Many people will die because you sell your votes. Because you sell your vote, many people will die. It has happened repeatedly. The Rwandan genocide came out of an aggrieved insurgent group who felt that their leader was supposed to be the head of Rwanda. And some compromises have entered the game. Somebody has paid somebody. In Syria alone, the blood diamond problem that happened, some people were using diamond to buy weapons. They didn't have cash, so they would get diamonds, give diamonds to a particular country, get weapons, use weapons to kill people. That was not the start. What started it was election problem. Who is going to be the leader? Who will be in charge of this country? Who will be in charge of this country? Who will be our president? And one party says, no, we want this one. The other party said, no, it must be our own leader. And then they began to exchange money, buying people, paying this one, paying that one, and everything collapsed. Everything collapsed. Do you want to know how many people have been killed in Nigeria in the last 20 years? Because somebody sold his vote. So, for every blood that is shed in a nation due to election violence, everybody that sells their vote are collaborators. Can you now see that the blood of many people are on our hands? And like I said 3 days ago, blood has a voice. Blood can speak. For every blood of the innocent that has been shed in Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, due to election violence, the people whose corruption led to that violence are carrying blood on their hands. And blood always speaks. The blood of Abel was speaking judgment against Cain. Judgment. 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 In the book of Hebrews, the Bible repeated it, that the blood of Jesus speaks better things than the blood of Abel. So blood has a voice. Blood can speak. So the reason why many of us are going, many of our countries in Africa are going through repeated financial and economic crisis, the land has been desecrated. The land has been polluted due to so many unwanted shed of blood. Because the money bags and the satanic agents who have a lot of money, they have come around to buy people. Bring your vote, take money. And the other party will feel aggrieved. I am the one that is supposed to be the governor. I will show you. And we go and recruit thugs and mercenaries and take laws into their hands, begin to kill people. How many times have you ever heard that they did an election in England and were killing people? How many times did you hear that in Canada they voted a new president and they went to the house of the director and they shot him dead? Because they will not sell their vote with money. Anything that money is involved in will always lead to problem. It's a general principle of life. Anything, because money itself is a means of exchange. And the Bible tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil. Anywhere you find the love of money, all the evil in this world is there. Money will make people to change their mind. Money separates separate husband and wife. Money destroys marriages. Money, it is a very important tool. We need the money to spend money on, but when the love of money is in play, is in any equation, it messes things up completely. Economic crisis is a fourth consequence. Oh, the value of the CFA has gone down. Oh, the value of the rand has gone down. The value of naira is crashing. Your vote is contributing to the collapse of the value of the naira. Because if you had not sold your vote and you had cast your vote for the right person you love, the right leader would have emerged, who would have had enough brain and wisdom to put the economy in order. So when you see people pointing finger, it is the fault of the leader. It is the fault of our governor. He's a useless man. He's a stupid man. No, you collaborated with him. The two of you are the same. The man you are pointing one finger at, 4 of your fingers are pointing back at you. Because if you didn't sell your vote that took him there, it wouldn't be there in the first instance. Political apathy. You know what apathy means? Mr. James, are you not going to vote? I'm not interested. If I vote, my vote doesn't count. My vote will not even count. That is called political apathy. People become disinterested in voting because they have looked at the track record of the previous years. All the people that got to power or that became leader, they didn't get there on grounds of merit. They bought their way. So you feel a kind of apathy. If I vote, it will not count. And that is the problem facing Nigeria in particular. A lot of educated people don't vote. I got the statistics from someone. On the day of election, professors, medical doctors, engineers, they stay at home reading newspapers. It is the market women and illiterates that go and vote. The ones that are easily they are susceptible to the lowest amount of money. They will sell their vote. If they offered 5,000 naira to a professor, it's an insult on this person. It won't collect it from you. That is what comes out of apathy. There is political instability. Let me tell you something. Political stability is connected to what we call FDI, foreign direct investment. Will you take your money to a country that keeps changing government every year? I've done a lot of studies on this issue. Let me tell you something. When we want to analyze a country for prospective investments, for example, Microsoft comes to me now and tell me they want to go to Nigeria and set up a hub for innovation. But they want me to do a research for them on the Nigerian macroeconomic environment. They will call it, they use that terminology. Micro is something internal. Macro is something external. So the Nigerian external environment. And then I, as a consultant, I will start with the political environment of Nigeria. And I will now do a lot of analysis and go back to Microsoft and say, Nigeria does not have a stable political environment. Every year or every 2 years, they have different leaders. And when the leader comes in, it changes policy. It changes laws. You know what's happening? All the laws that regulate the way foreign companies operate in another country, all those laws are made by the government in power. So if, for example, the government of Nigeria today decides to tax foreign companies 30% of their profits. If you make $1 million, you're going to pay the Nigerian government $300,000 and you take $700,000 away to your country. After 4 years, if another president comes in and says, no, the tax laws, we call it corporation tax, it has changed from 30% to 45%. Then another 4 years, another government comes, say, no, the tax law has changed from 45% to 52%. That is what is called political instability. Reforms, regulations, laws, policies of the government are not stable. Now, they will be stable if a particular political party is in power, and when they are going, the next party that takes over doesn't demolish all the reforms, but there is continuity in reforms and policy that creates a trajectory of stability, and then it will improve FDI, foreign direct investment. So foreign government will have more confidence. Let's bring our investment to Ghana. In the next 20 years, our tax will not be more than this. We can predict it. Then they do all kinds of scenario analysis and do some calculations. So in the next 10 years, we pay a maximum of this. You know what selling your vote will do? It will be bringing the wrong set of people into power. And after every 4 years, a new government will come in, chase those people away, cancel all their policies and laws, enact new laws. Then they too will rule for 4 years. Then when somebody else is coming in again that is not supposed to be there, it comes in, dismantles all the policies, set up another one, and that creates a track record of instability across the country. That is what is chasing away many of these foreign companies. The environment is unstable. It's unstable. One of the things that contribute to political instability is election rigging, which comes as a result of vote selling and vote buying. So every Nigerian that sells his vote or a vote in 2018 is a collaborator in the collapse of the Nigerian economy. Quite easily said. Enough of pointing a finger to the government. If they bring money to you and you collect money, you have partaken of poison, and it will haunt the nation for another 4 years. Waste of taxpayers' money is another consequences of election rigging, buying of votes. Let me tell you some of the things briefly in 10 minutes that we can do to stem this tide. You know, there are so many political scientists in Africa, professors, PhD holders, who know the models, the theories of this is I'm saying. They have studied in Harvard and studied in Yale and wherever, but when they come into the country, they cannot just perform because the environment is not enabling. It is systems that make leaders. Systems. Previously, academic research tells us leaders make systems. When a leader comes to power, he changes systems and organizes systems. That is logic. That is true. But in 2017, the new stream of research that is coming in now is saying that leaders are becoming weaker to change systems. So, if the system is already bad and terrible, everybody should join hands together and see what they can do to correct that system, reorganize the system, create structures before putting a leader there. Because when you put a good leader in a bad system, the bad system will turn the good leader into a bad leader in a matter of time. That is why you see people that are very credible. This man studied from this woman came from the World Bank. This woman she was a PhD owner in Harvard, and then she became Nigerian economic minister, and then all the bad things in the system began to affect her. She will sign a particular law, a policy in place. The people in the Senate House will cancel it. And they began to throw her back and forth until they nearly ruined her integrity and credibility. And she had to run for her life. Because the system is very bad. So the first thing is to create structures, institutions, systems that will not be amenable, that will not be relative or connected to any vested interest. Whoever breaks the law will be punished for it. If we can get that kind of a thing done in an African country, where somebody will not pick the phone and call the president and say, they cannot jail my son, even though he was guilty, and they will override that thing. We haven't started at all. Electoral laws, massive civic education. Like I said, a lot of Africans, not everyone, a lot of them are educated illiterates. They have master's degree, but they don't know the consequences of election rigging. Many of them will even be part of the trustees of the parties that will rig the election. They go to meetings at night, nocturnal meetings. They decide, okay, give 10 million to people in the southeast, give 50 million. This guy has a master's degree. He will be the one that will be in charge because of what he wants to eat. He does not have any inclination or idea of the consequences of what he's doing to the entire nation. Promote the rule of law. Overhaul the judiciary system. Build a non-police and unmilitarized state. Security forces must not play any role in election or in political situations. Establish, reduce the powers of presidency and other people that are in power, and make sure they don't interfere. These are things that are all written down in many of our African constitutional laws. They know all these things very well. But when the time of election comes, all the things I'm saying today, many of us will begin to remember it. I begin to read in newspaper. They have bought, they have stolen some amount of money, they have paid somebody. I am speaking to Nigerians, to Ghanaians, to citizens. I am not speaking so much to those guys in power who are doing this thing. Many of them know these theories. They know it more than me. But I'm pleading with our people. We are collaborators and conspirators to whatever is happening in our nation. Enough of pointing of finger. In 2018, a lot of elections will take place. Money will be flowing around. What is your price? How much can they offer you to buy your conscience? Until you can control the appetite and thirst for money, you have not yet become a matured person. One of the greatest things you can use to test maturity is money. It's easy to say, no, I won't collect money. When you see 6 zeros, 7 zeros in your account, what will you do? So it's always good to prepare ourselves now before such days come, so that you'll be fully prepared to damn all the consequences. The blood of many innocent people is in the hands of many citizens. The citizens are pointing fingers at the politicians, but no, both politicians and citizens are conspirators, are collaborators. Because when somebody offers to buy your vote and you agree to sell it, the two of you are involved in the illicit trade of vote. And all the consequences of the nation will be shared equally by both the buyer and the seller. And so this is the 19th session of our value system change agenda. The problem with many of our people in Africa is lack of knowledge, ignorance. And I've attempted to highlight some of these issues to us tonight. Majority of our people are not hearing this. They are sleeping now because it's a bedtime in Africa now. But as many of us as can reach out to our friends, reach out to our family members, as the year is turning and people are going into election, let us plead with our people. Yes, things are hard. Yes, there are no jobs. Yes, money is scarce. Yes, problems are abounding everywhere. People need money. Selling your vote and collecting money is tantamount to collecting blood money. Not all the people that do rituals alone are spending blood money. People who sell their vote and collect money through it are collecting blood money. Because many people will be killed, many lives will be lost directly or indirectly as a result of bad leadership and election rigging. And that money that they gave you is like the money that Judas collected from the Pharisees. The blood money. The blood money. You wonder why many people make such money and things begin to turn upside down for them. Because it is not the kind of money you take. It's better to die poor than to be enriched through corruption. There was a man in the scripture, Balaam, who prayed a prayer. He said, let me die the death of the righteous, and let my latter end be like his. Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my latter end be like this. God didn't answer that prayer. Balaam collected money. God told Balaam, do not curse the Israelites. Balak came to Balaam and begged Balaam, I will give you house full of gold. I will give you raiments. I will give you silver. And Balaam went back and collected those things. After he had taken those things, he was now praying to God. Oh God, let me die the death of the righteous, and let my latter end be like his. God didn't answer his prayer. He died a shameful, painful death. They killed him like though he wasn't a prophet of God. There is a stage a man gets to in life when he says, I will rather die saying the truth than to stand on the path of injustice, of corruption. Only very few people can say that in our generation. The crowd is getting bigger. The people that can say some things are thinning out. They are thinning out, a small fraction. I'm pleading to God to help me to be among those few category of people. And I'm asking God to help you too. When the money bags know that nobody will collect money, out of 100,000 citizens, they offer you money, I don't want. This one, I don't want. That one, I don't want. They will put their money in their pockets. And our votes will begin to count. I'm trusting God for a day that will come in the societies we have in Africa, using Nigeria as a template, that our children, our adults, our students, our young people, our professionals, on the day of election can say, let me die the death of the righteous. I will rather be righteous with my vote and die than selling my vote. That is the generation that will usher in a change to our nation. That is the generation that will usher in true leadership in our nation. Until we reach that stage where people no longer use their circumstance and situation as the ground for selling their vote. I'm poor. I have to pay my children's school fees. What will I do? The man of our money, we took it. Until we get to a point where we say, my children will rather remain illiterate than me taking money from corrupt politicians to vote for them. I will never do it. When we get such people in the society, leadership and change will emerge. Thank you so much for listening to me tonight. God bless you. It's quite late. And please help me share this video on your timeline. People are being transformed and changed. Tomorrow is another day, and it promises to be explosive as we dig into another value system in the African society. This is Value System Change Agenda, day 19. Tomorrow is the 28th day. God bless you. Have a nice, sweet sleep. Have a nice, sweet rest. Take a hot drink if it's cold in your area, or take a cold drink if it's warm. It is very cold where I am now, so I have to go and take something hot. Thank you so much. God bless you.